Let me now invite Mr. Korker from Egypt to make his presentation. I just would like to ask to my speakers to be short in the presentation and to allow me to save time for the next session.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Actually, I'm going to present to you the work that has been done concerning the design of financing mechanism for the promotion of solar water heaters in Egypt. This is actually in the context of the Mid-Desire program. We actually choose the solar water heaters and the residential sector to be the target of our work. Actually, this paper covers three main activities. First one is to assess the current situation of solar market in Egypt, and then the potential for solar market development, and then identification of the most appropriate financing mechanism to promote solar water heaters in Egypt. Let me just say that there are several characteristics and challenges facing the energy sector in Egypt, which includes the heavily reliance on depleted energy resources, mainly oil and gas, with little contribution of solar energy and wind energy, and both the primary energy consumption and electricity generation. Also heavily subsidized energy prices, importing large amounts of conventional fuels, mainly LPG in the residential sector, which costs the economy about $2 billion in the year 2013. Energy consumption actually is almost double each 10 years. So by the year 2030, we will have a gap of about 214 million tons of oil equivalent has to be satisfied either by importing conventional oil and gas from outside or from coal, or renewable energy, of course, could play a vital role in that regard. Why we choose the residential sector and solar water heaters? As I mentioned, actually unlike the PV, solar water heaters has any supportive policies to promote the market, its market. Residential sector is considered as one of the major energy consuming sectors in Egypt, account for 21% of total final energy demand, and 43% of electricity consumption, and 99% of LPG. As I mentioned before, large quantities of LPG imported from abroad, almost 50%, cost $2 billion. Talking about the solar water heaters market in Egypt, Egypt, of course, was one of the first countries worldwide to utilize solar energy. We have the first solar thermal power plant in early 19th century in Maadi district. In 1991, the Solar Atlas was issued. We have about 20 companies manufacturing, importers of solar water heaters. The growth rate of solar water heaters utilization in Egypt doesn't exceed 1.5% due to several barriers which hinder its market promotion. Let me skip some of the slides just to save time. This is for solar water heater market analysis. We have actually in Egypt almost more than 10 million water heaters, of which 5 as LPG, 2 natural gas, and 3 as electric water heaters. So the amount of water consumption range between 0.2 to 0.7 billion cubic meter per year, depending on the time of use. Here is the how much we are consumed for one solar heater per day. As we can see, it is about 9.3 kilowatt hour per day for electricity, 0.7 kilogram per day for LPG, and 0.9 kilometer square of meter cube of natural gas per day. We can see that the cost, depending on the prevailing prices, the cost of water heating by electric heater is almost 5 times that of LPG and 6 times the water heater utilizing natural gas. Here is the assessment of water demand and the consumption. We can see it varies between 1.4 to 4.2 million ton oil equivalent. For the target and the strategies, actually, unfortunately, we have no targets for solar water heaters in Egypt. Okay, let me go through some. This is the share for the future, depending on the population growth rate and the improvement in the standard of living. So the solar energy in water heating will increase from 4 to 49%. This is the total number of solar water heaters, and the share of energy will increase from 3 to 41 in the year 35. Also, this is the we made a review for the successful financing mechanism in the region and in Egypt through making questionnaire interviews and literature review. I'm not going to talk about it because my colleague will talk about some of it and the rest in my presentation. So let me go to the design of the model itself, just to save time. Here is some of the assessment, financial and economic assessment, actually, based on the most important parameters that affect utilization of solar water heaters in Egypt, like the cost, the initial cost, the interest rate of loans from banks, and the payback period. Here is some of the results from this analysis. This is for utilizing, of course, net present value and internal rate of return. This is the impact of electricity price on solar water heater financial and economic viability. We can see that for price of electricity of not less than 0.34 LE per kilowatt, solar water heaters will not be a viable alternative to electric water heaters. This is the actually, this is sensitivity analysis concerning the electricity prices and the cost at the same time. This is the payback period. We can see that for price, which is the prevailing price of electricity of 0.29 LE per kilowatt, the payback period will not be less than 8 years. While if we increase the price to 0.62, the payback period will be just 4 years or a little bit more. Let me go to the design directly, because this is the design, proposed design, actually. It is based on 80% loan and 20% subsidy. The procedure, as we can see here, we are relying on the loans from banks and the subsidy from what is known as National Green Fund, with resources from international donors, grants, fuel switching or fuel saving cost and fuel subsidy cost, in addition to the national budget. So the procedure, anyone who would like to install a new solar water heater, he has to go to the development unit which is affiliated to NAREA, and very simple application. The unit studies the application, and if it finds that the applicant is eligible to participate in the national program, it informs him, in addition to the lending bank and the National Green Fund, which transfers the first disbursement to the solar water heating suppliers or installation companies, which installs solar water heaters. And then we have a monitoring unit which monitors the performance of the installation of solar water heaters. Then the solar water heaters owners repay the cost through the electricity bill. Actually, the estimated budget for the installation of 100,000 solar water heaters is about 80 million, of which 64 million as a loan from the bank and 16 million as a grant from the National Green Fund. Here is some savings from implementing this national program. We can see that fuel saving estimated at 46,000 ton oil equivalent per year, avoided CO2 emissions about 113,000 ton per year, avoided damage cost is about $9 million per year. The number of created jobs will be about 1,000. Here is the presentation of the subsidy needed for one solar water heater, which costs about $800 with interest cost about 431. So the total cost will be about $1,231. So the subsidy needed for one solar per year is about $258. The electricity saving is about $497. So we can get net saving of about $239 per one solar water heater. Thank you very much.